Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director, here with my co-host Tate Mathews. Tate, a lot of excitement in the gyms this time of year.
It's in the air, man. It's here. Can't wait. And it's a tight race. We got a lot of people still in play, so it's going to be exciting next 2 or 3 weeks. And hard to believe it, spring sports can start practicing, next week, I believe. So
and
everything's getting ready to run together.
And some sports, like track, they never have to stop. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
It's I hate to just call it an Olympic sport. I don't think that's the total deal, but they can train
with their
throughout
coaches?
the year. Yes.
Wow.
If not, we'll cut this out of the segment. But,
I'd say you're right. You are the county athletic director.
at least we
district-wide.
At least we do that here.
That's right. Yes. If you're watching Bernard Childress,
If you're watching in Gallatin, are they watching?
Captain Kids Camp, I'm sure he is, and his ears are bleeding right now, but that's okay.
You think he watches?
He used to. He sent a cryptic tweet saying his ears were bleeding.
That's great. Tate, let's talk wrestling because we got a lot to talk about here.
I bet he wasn't watching after that Summit smackdown about 3 months
No,
ago.
I bet not either. Congratulations to Centennial. They are back-to-back region duels champions. They had a win over Independence. Both teams now advance to the state duels championship. Earlier in the week, I was actually out watching the district semis and championship at Page. You're talking about great matches and great atmosphere. Centennial defeated Centennial over Page, like a 1-point match.
Right.
And then Independence over Brentwood, which I thought was maybe a little bit of an upset, but Brentwood had some guys that were out, so that obviously made a difference. No disrespect to Centennial. I mean,
No, it did make a difference.
They've been in the duels 3 straight years, right?
Oh, yeah,
At the state
yeah.
level.
Yeah, it did make a difference, but that's how close those 4 are, and it's really funny. I think Coach Grindstaff's now coming up on 10 state duel tournament appearances, and then Centennial's Coach Pelkey and them, I think 5, 6. So it's really kind of been them the past 2 years. And I think, at the beginning of the year, going into probably the last few weeks, a lot of people thought Brentwood was the favorite, but they had a dogfight a couple of weeks ago with Centennial, and I think it came down to the last match. But anyways, yeah, that's those 2 guys. We talk. It's a tournament sport, but then it's also an individual sport. And Centennial and Independence really have it figured out right now. Back-to-back dual championship in this district, you're doing something really well. Now, the state duels in AAA, man, it is tough, as we'll see when we talk about the lineup. But congratulations to them. That's huge. And the neat thing about it is the amount of participation that they've got out at both Centennial and Independence. And a lot of those Centennial guys they're just wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? They found their niche and had a lot of success with it. Very cool.
Coach Pelkey does a great job. And now I don't profess to say I'm like the guru when it comes to wrestling, but when I look at all the teams, I look at Independence's squad and go, they're not as talented as the other squads. But yet, you talk about Coach Grindstaff, they're right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right there every year.
Yeah, well, there's 14 classes, and so it doesn't matter how you do it. At the end of the day, right, you got to have more than them, and that's where they don't have a guy who's 29-1, 33-0, but they got a bunch of guys that are really tough wrestlers, and the other thing too is there's not a whole lot of weaknesses, right? So you got to think for every pin you give up, well, that's 6 points. Well, now you got to either win 2 or you got to get a pin for those. You see what I'm saying?
I definitely
So there's
see what
just
you're
they're more balanced.
I'm fascinated by the strategy. I was asking some of the coaches, like, okay, if it's obvious I'm going to get beat, right? It's 14-1 or 14-4. I'm just trying not to get pinned, but I was like, do you give up a point on purpose? They're like, absolutely.
Sure.
If you're in the whatever position that is where you can stand up and give up a point, that's what they do. It makes sense.
Oh, without a doubt.
Lots of strategy. Even
Just don't get stuck on your back. And I've heard it. Like I said, that might be the exact talk. Look, Darrin, we know you can't beat this guy.
Oh, thank you,
You
Coach.
just can't get pinned. Well, what about 19-2, Coach? Just don't get pinned. Yeah, that's got to make you feel good.
Appreciate it. I'm going to go out there and try not to get pinned.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
And then there's other times they say, hey, look, you have to pin your guy. Technical
Do you
foul.
think I could keep Skylar Coffey from pinning me?
No. No.
What if it was both of us against
But
him?
I don't know very many people that can.
What if it was you and I against him at the same time like an old?
Do we have baseball bats? Crowbars? You could sneak behind him and push him. I mean, no. He literally, it's all about how long does, it's like cat and mouse, right? If you were to wrestle him, it's literally how long does he want to let you go? If he wants it to be 10 seconds, it'll be 10 seconds. If he wants to throw you around for a minute, let you go, period, whatever, doesn't matter. That's how long it's going to be.
That's right. That's right. Now, by the way, this is this week's gym that you don't know about, and I'm going to test you here. So here's the gym. Last year, district finals, what happened?
Don't remember.
Centennial over Independence.
Oh, yeah.
Region duels final, what happened?
Independence over Centennial.
Centennial over Independence.
Yeah.
Fourth place in the state.
Centennial over Independence.
Yeah, so you see the theme here.
I do.
So those two teams, when it comes down to the duels, last couple years at least, have been the teams. Now, let's talk about this real quick. I know we spent a lot of time talking about the 2-on-1 match with us against Colin. By the way, Skylar, if you happen to be watching, we don't want any. You look at the state draw we talked about before you came in. At the small school level, Fairview versus Greenville this Friday, Nolensville Signal Mountain. If both teams win, we're guaranteed a team in the championship. In the large class, we've got Independence taking on Arlington, Centennial versus Houston. What are your thoughts there, Tate?
I think those are good draws. Obviously, anybody in AAA right now is really good. But I think those are very good draws for both of those guys. The main thing is you want to stay away from Cleveland and Bradley as long as you possibly can. And then when you get to them, you give them your best shot. And you never know what's going to happen. But those two are the best. They just are. And I think we got a chance of getting a third, fourth round place again. Who knows, maybe pulling off an upset. But both of those are really good matchups.
And I've been saying it all along, no disrespect to Nolensville. Fairview wins the state title.
It'd be huge, man.
I would love it.
Hey,
Nolensville
is obviously one of the best teams in AAA, and you saw what they did to them. So this Fairview team's legit.
No doubt. Signing day coming up this week. I guess now the early signing day is almost like the signing day. Most people have already signed who they're going to sign. Did you see about Garcia, our man Brian Garcia?
I did.
South Alabama.
Do you know what their mascot?
The Jaguars.
The Jaguars, very good. Man. Yeah, that's good. That's very strong. Yeah, good for him, man. They're getting a good one.
And did you see where, of course, Brenningstill's a junior, but did you see where Dabo Sweeney stopped by Ravenwood?
I did.
Now, this came from a wrestling coach, but I do believe it. They said Sweeney went on and on talking about, I love it when football guys also participate in wrestling. I love it. The multi-sport athlete.
The multi-sport athlete, because there's so many different things, but all football, especially linemen, they love wrestling. Helps you with your feet, helps you with your hands. You got to be tough. You got to be in shape. There's nowhere to hide on that wrestling mat. It's you and the other guy. It's you and Skylar Coffee, coach, and you can't really blame it on anybody. So, no, Dabo's been like that for a long time. And let me tell you something. He's probably only going to offer one tight end in that class, and he offered it to the guy over off Wilson Pike. That's way cool.
It's very exciting. Soccer, Kate Devine, the Brentwood goalkeeper, who, by the way, is committed to Vanderbilt. I don't know if you knew that. The Gateway Tire Female Athlete of the Fall, Garth Bolden and Gateway. I know we appreciate him being involved, but I thought that was pretty neat. Presentation was done at the basketball game with Summit on Friday night.
And the boys' version was Brian Garcia. I'd say both of those. I'd say Garth and the boys got both of those right.
I think we'll see them at the Wilco's.
For sure.
Which, by the way, has been scheduled May 26th, the day after Memorial Day, at the factory. Once again, 5:30, red carpet show, 7 o'clock.
Are you going to pull dual duties?
I think I probably will.
So you'll be red carpet.
We'll see, but I'm saying
And then just
yes.
walk right. I like it.
Dr. Qualls doesn't think I can do it, but I think I can do it.
I got faith in you.
We'll see.
Proper planning.
Let's talk basketball. Let's start with the girls. Brentwood and Page. We've kind of known this anyway, but based on what happened last week, it's those two, 1 and 2.
Correct.
Brentwood now 11-0. Page 10-1. Then you go Dixon, Indy, and Ravenwood, all with 7 wins. There's some different losses depending on how many games they've played. So that's probably going to be 3, 4, and 5. Although Summit maybe could get back in there. Summit's pretty much got 6 locked up, and then 7, 8, and 9. That will definitely be Spring Hill, Franklin, Centennial. We just don't know the order. State rankings, and I was thinking about this. When is the last time you could say, if ever, the girls' side of WCS is really stronger statewide than the boys? Have you ever been able to say that?
No, I don't think so. No.
This year we can say it. Not that the boys is low or down or one of those things, but it says something about the girls. State rankings.
You have 3 legit
Legit.
state tournament possibilities.
Brentwood 4th, Page 10th, and Nolensville 8th.
That's state.
In the state. Yeah. Then you talk about mid-state, which again, that's all classes, and I think they do a pretty good job in those rankings. Brentwood 2, Page 6, Nolensville 9. Girls basketball, very prominent in WCS right now.
How exciting is Brentwood Page round 2 going to be?
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. All right, let's talk some girls recaps. Brentwood 61, Summit 49. I was at that game. Definitely had a district semifinal game type of feel. Brentwood, after losing their first game of the season to Innsworth, 17 straight wins. Amelia Osgood, 23. Emily Truschel with 20. And here's what I thought was interesting. And Coach Wild talked about this after the game. Obviously, they tried to defend them and say, let's guard the 3. They had 4 threes. They had 34 points in the paint. Still scored 61. It's going to be hard to stop Brentwood.
It's going to be hard to stop. I was going to say, it looks like they're even playing better as the season's going along. And so, I don't care what division you're playing in. You win 17 straight, you're playing some really, really good basketball. And like you said, Osgood 23 and Truschel, Emily 20. I don't know what Delaney had, but I know it was
9.
Okay.
She was right there.
So there you go. There's 63 points.
It was a 2-point game.
Most people don't even score 63 in a game. 2 games.
It was a 2-point game with 6.5 minutes left. And this says something about Summit now. With Ellie Colson being back, she is a force. No doubt about it inside. She ends up with 16 points for the game. They're down 15-2 on the road, and they get it down to 2 points with 6.5 minutes left. In fact, Colson made a nice move, shot one over her shoulder that just kind of rimmed out. I think that might have given them the lead. I guess it would have tied it up at the time. So that game was very, very tight throughout. Once, 15-2, then they got back in the game. Then it was pretty much a back-and-forth game. Ended up being 12, but really, the end of that game, it was really, really tight.
Yeah. Well, and you've been saying that for a while. Look out when they get healthy.
Wow.
They're about there. Tournament time is going to be fun.
Colson's a difference maker.
She is, without a doubt.
Our WCTV game of the week, Independent 68 at Centennial 45. And before we go further, let's take a look at our WCTV play of the week.
And costly turnover, giving the Lady Eagles the ball. Here comes the dangerous Banks. One-on-one with Foster.
Ooh.
Nice little move, fake pass, and what a scoop shot.
Yeah, okay, a little pressure. But say, I'm a nice little crossover and Euro step. Ja Morant jelly with the left hand goes down. That's nice right there.
Yeah, John Morant's down there in Memphis. If he's seeing this, he's liking it.
He's tipping
Wonderful
his hat
play
off.
by Banks.
I mean, I really don't even know what you say to that. To the poor defender, right?
On
there's
skates.
a little bit of everything.
On skates.
On skates, blown by,
Yeah, it was nice.
left. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that can't. Well, no, the majority of the guys can't do
Right.
that. That was they seem like they're getting. They were the hot team. Got hit in the mouth. Maybe we're not quite ready yet, but they seem like they're getting their groove back again.
Well, and people talk about the addition of course they're good, the addition of Freeman. And Freeman's great, she is. But most weeks when we talk about them, it's not like we're talking about her being the dominant leading scorer for them.
No.
Kayla Miller, 28 points, 15 rebounds, 13 of those points in the fourth quarter. And then Jalen Sampson Johnson Banks, the freshman with 20 points. It's not like they're going away, like you said. 7-3 in the league, 13-6 overall. What a great job Coach Glazner's done.
For sure. And then what Jalen does is, we talk about that on the guys' side a lot, but like she can create. You know what I'm saying? That's something you don't see a whole lot of places. So not always going to be maybe shooting well from 3-point. She can create a shot for herself, and not everybody's got one of those.
Sheraton Foster once again leads Centennial in scoring with 12 of her 20 points.
She's had a nice year.
She's had a nice year. And it's something we haven't probably talked about a lot, but we talked about last week on the coaches show. They've got one senior. So I think there's a real possibility, and I really hope so, because I think Coach Simmons is such a great guy.
Yep.
They could be next year's Indy. They could be, because they've got a lot of young players. They do.
And they kind of have the same deal, but like if we've talked about it, for whatever reason, there's just been a lot of turnover, and if they can just keep everybody together, which, one senior, Fairview, you can do it, and they've got the pieces. And again, like I said, you get tired of hearing it, but they're getting better, man. They're scoring more points. The games are getting closer. You're right. I think they very well could be next year's Indy.
Page 57 at Dixon 46. Page up early 15-5. And here's something in that game that I thought said a lot about Page being a really good team. They're on the road. They're ahead 15-5. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. Very briefly, Dixon takes the lead. If you're not a really good veteran team, you probably end up losing that game. Page comes back and scores, ends up winning by 11 points. So, with them, maybe more than Brentwood in a lot of ways. I would call it the big four. Listen to these stats. Mackenzie Cochran, 17. Olivia Wilson, 12 points, 12 rebounds. Delaney No, 7 points, 7 assists, 4 steals. Lily Wilkin, 14 points, 5 steals, 9 rebounds. That's 4 pretty dominant players.
Great stat line. And here's the cool thing. Lily's the younger one. But she played, 29 games last year.
She's
now
tough.
Here we are over 20. She's played 50 high school games. That doesn't count everything. You know what I'm saying? She's not a sophomore. You know what I'm saying? As far as experience goes. No's been in a lot of tough games. They all have. The thing I like about the Lady Patriots, you were talking about, there's been years when we've had really good basketball on the women's side. But a lot of times, maybe good teams, good coaches, I think we're more athletic.
No doubt.
We're probably more athletic on women's basketball than Rutherford County. I don't know that that's ever been said, You agree with that?
100% agree.
And Paige is a big part of that.
You talking about a great week. Ravenwood, boys and girls.
Yes.
They beat Spring Hill 54-49, kind of a tough game on Friday, but I would say a lot of that had to do with that big win they had at Dixon on Tuesday. To have to come back and play at Spring Hill on Friday maybe felt like a letdown, but they won that game. They went on the road after getting that signature win for Coach James in his first year at the helm. Just a great win for Ravenwood. And I tell you what they've done too. They've guaranteed really they're going to be in the top 5. I mean, we talked about Summit catching them, and maybe they can, but they're 2 games behind them now. And now any kind of tie, I don't know if anybody else is going to have that Dixon win. So big win for Ravenwood, especially on Tuesday.
Big win, and it was the Lexi Erickson show for a lot.
As always.
Yeah, as always. But Grimes is playing better. You can tell she's getting more comfortable, and it's a little bit more balanced. They've got 3 people who can score. So, come tournament time. And what Erickson can put up 29 on you. So, yeah, they're definitely getting better.
Franklin 46, Columbia 56, a non-district game for them on Thursday night. Tough week for the Lady Rebels. They just ran into a buzzsaw on Tuesday night with Page, 78-33. But here's something I do want to point out about the Lady Rebels, and this is a testament to Coach Johnson and his staff and those young ladies. They go to Columbia. They're down 19 early in the game. In the fourth quarter, they end up cutting it down. Did end up losing by 10, but they didn't quit.
Yep.
Kate O'Neill, 18 points, always lead them in scoring, it seems like now. Lauren McKnight throws in 11. So a testament to them for still playing hard.
For sure.
It's tough.
They haven't given up. And Kate O'Neill, a lot like Sheridan Foster. I know the wins aren't what they want, but she's had a really, really nice year as well.
Let's talk about the boys' standings. And it's really, this one's kind of in groupings too, like the girls, where the girls was the top 2. The boys, it's pretty much looking like the top 3 we know, right? Brentwood is 10-1 after that loss to Summit, which we'll talk, or against Summit at Brentwood, that we'll talk about. Dixon at 9-2, Summit 8-3, and then the next team has 5 losses. So it's looking like that will be the top 3.
Right.
The big mover for the week, though, Ravenwood. They started off 8th when the week started.
Yeah.
Wins over 3 in a row now. Franklin, Dixon, Spring Hill, which was a tough game in overtime. Now they're 6th and still could climb.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
So they got to be pleased with that.
very pleased. And I think it's, that I don't know that they get the Dixon win without the Franklin win. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that might have been right about where, hey guys, let's make a decision what we're going to do with this season here. If we're just going to try to get this over with, let's get it over with. That Franklin win, bam, get some re-energized. And then Dixon, it wasn't just a couple of weeks ago where we didn't know if Brentwood was going to beat them or not. They had no loss. A lot of people were thinking that they're going to walk away with this thing. And that's the thing about Ravenwood, man. They're tough, and if you let them hang around, it can be bad for you at the end.
This is what's so great about high school sports. So Ravenwood, they lose to Independence by 11 points to go 2-7 in the league. And I'm telling you, this is tough. You got to give Coach Whitlock credit. I'm telling you, you have to. And that team, but I mean, that's not easy as a coach. You're 2-7. You're staring Franklin and Dixon in the face. You win both of those games. And then having to go to Spring Hill in overtime, they win another game. 3 games in a row after being 2-7 with a fairly young team. That's tough.
Yep.
It's really tough. So credit to Coach Whitlock.
Coach
and
is the
Ravenwood.
dean of.
He is.
Yeah, he's the dean of 11 AAA coaches.
Now, the game of the week, in terms of how it was played, Brentwood, Summit, 45-48. Summit comes out on top. Battle, obviously, of 2 of the top teams in the league. If you're into what I would call pretty basketball with a bunch of scoring, and that probably wasn't the game for you.
No.
But if you're into tough-mindedness, big stops on the defensive end, physical play, it was a great game, and it went down to the wire.
So who dictated it? Summit or Brentwood?
Really, I think it was both
Both?
in a lot of ways. Summit's not looking to run and gun. That's not really the team they have either. They're a little bit bigger. I wouldn't call them slow. They're definitely not slow, but they got bigger bodies that aren't just running up and down the floor. I think they probably could do that. Right. Brentwood definitely doesn't want to do it. But really both, honestly. They're both pretty methodical with the ball. If you look at both of their scores, there's not a lot of high-scoring games. Brentwood, probably not as high as Summit, but you felt like both were pretty comfortable with that style of play.
And don't you think, especially in 11 on the boys' side, it's really hard to go undefeated. I can't remember
difficult.
the last time it's happened. So you don't want to, but you knew this was, or at least I felt like, I don't read anything into this other than I think we've thought all year long Summit's really good, going to be really good come tournament time. And I think Brentwood's still the top team in the district, but you're just not going to go undefeated in this district schedule that they play. And especially, which you have to do it, you did it the same way, the non-conference schedule that they play. You're just not going to do it.
No, it's tough. It's tough. Keaton Wade led Summit in scoring with 14, Trey Carlton with 12. Also a big win earlier in the week, 57-53 over Centennial. And that loss was Brentwood's first since December 27th. So their first loss of 2020.
And the first loss for Brentwood High School basketball in 2020.
That's right. That's right. So 11-0 and now 10-1. So 21-1 still pretty good.
Pretty strong. I think we'll take it.
Centennial 59, Independence 41, our WCTV game of the week. Big 18-7 run in the second quarter for Centennial, and they never really looked back. Dusty Williams didn't play in this game, by the way. Isaiah Poor with 22, Carter Speedy with 11, Andrew Ellison 19. Those seniors are stepping up for Centennial.
Centennial right under those guys. They can't catch up with him going into district tournament because of the record, but you were talking about clearly the top 3. Record-wise, you're correct, but I think, Centennial's right up there with those top 3 in terms of guys that I think got a shot to win this, to come out of the tournament champs.
I'm going to tell you this. We are looking pretty strong.
Where is it?
At a Centennial Franklin first-round game. It's at Independence.
The new boards.
The new board's looking good out there. Very excited about it.
Yeah, very excited.
And don't count Indy and Ravenwood. You know, these first-round games
Well,
are going to be
Ravenwood,
tough.
they've already proven to you that you better not count them out.
Now,
it's going to be fun.
Do you remember what I said last week? I said I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to say Page is going to win 2 of their next 3.
You did.
Franklin, Dixon, Brentwood. They beat Franklin on Tuesday. Big win, 73-64. They lose by 1 at Dixon, so they almost got it in 2 games. So if it goes with what I predicted, that means they're going to take care of Brentwood, which I think will be a great game. Now, in this game, and I apologize if I say this name wrong, Gunnar Gist hits a 2 that they thought might have been a 3. It's 60-57. Page gets a couple of shots. They kick it out to the corner. Gunnar takes the shot, foot on the line with 2 seconds left. So instead of 60-all, it's 60-59. It was close, but if you look at the video, looks like he stepped on the line. But great game by Page.
For sure.
They had a 3-game winning streak in the league.
They're making you look really good.
They really are, which is hard to do. By the way, you may be listening on our podcast. We have a podcast now. It's on Spotify and what's that, Apple podcast? It's big time.
Yeah, I do Spotify. I don't know. Apple, whatever. Yeah, that is big time.
So if you prefer not to see us, but you're willing to at least hear us,
Here, listen to us.
look it up, Williamson County Television,
That's
and
big.
you'll find the broadcast or the podcast. So if we say something like, "Did you see that play?" I mean, we realize it's
Well,
on both.
I heard about it from Coach Snow after the Franklin win.
Oh, what did he say?
I heard you picked again. Apparently, we picked, and I guess I picked Franklin. And
He didn't pick that. He didn't pick
I'm just
against
telling
them.
you, I got a text.
That's great. I'm glad you guys are watching.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They know.
All right, quickly, because we got to talk about our AA teams too, and I know we're getting short on time. We talked about Ravenwood, 76-75 over Spring Hill. Again, they had a great week.
And who put up big again?
It goes without saying, our man Gaynor.
Gaynor.
But they also had Dang and Jake Mulder with 15 or 14.
That's kind of been the recipe for success.
Playing well. Franklin, like the girls, they also played a game out of the district, 63-49 win at Columbia. Snapped a 3-game losing streak for the Rebels. Reed Kemp 20. Aiden Smiley, 9 points, 12 rebounds.
The human pogo stick.
He is. Taylor Spirito, 9 assists. Spirito and Smiley, to me, have been the keys for them. Because you know what you're getting with
Right.
Kemp and Thurman, Fire and Ice,
Who are gonna be the other
Stockton
ones
and
to step
Malone.
up?
You know what you're getting out of those two, right?
I like that one.
But those two have really stepped up and are big for the Rebels.
And you know, Reed's even kind of wearing Stockton-esque shorts. They kind of went to those shorter shorts. I didn't think about that. Maybe that's what's going on. You're right, though. We know what those two are going to do. We need someone, and you've noticed Spirito's been stepping up. He keeps popping up. I'm telling you, they don't need us to tell them. You don't sleep on Franklin now.
Oh, no. Don't sleep on Franklin at all. And, you know, and Coach Tigert loves guys like Smiley and Spirito.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guys who maybe don't get all the headlines, but they do some things. Now, Smiley's getting some headlines. He's scoring a lot. But 12 rebounds? That's big time.
He can jump, man, and he gets up quick, too.
He does.
I'm telling you, that's why I call it the pogo stick. It's pretty impressive.
It is. All right, let's take a look at our AA update. Fairview girls, I'm loving this. 3-0 last week with district wins over Hickman County and Waverly. They're now 13-10, 9-2 overall. Pretty solidly in second place. I think we can obviously say, I don't know if they play theirs at one site or not, but if they satellite those games, they're definitely going to be hosting a district game.
Yeah, that's big.
And here's something I know. If you look at their stats from their 3 games, here's a name we haven't been talking about, and she's stepping up. So this is another player stepping up for Fairview. We talked about Anastasia Byerly, the sophomore, stepping up, but now Chloe Lee. Great week for Chloe.
Big week.
9 points, 15 points, 24 points in the 3 games, and also 5, 6, and 5 assists in those games. So big week for her.
Big week for her, and obviously Casey Mullins as well. I think she's got a real shot to be Player of the Year.
She does. Very consistent performer.
That'd be big.
On the boys' side, a little tougher week, 1-2, 0-2 in the league. They dropped from 2nd to 4th. In the district games, they lost to Hickman County 51-45, and at Les Trotter of Waverly on Friday, 55-50 in overtime. You know, and I watched their game, and I know that Lockhart is out for the year for Fairview, and that makes a difference. But that's a credit to Coach Trotter, too, because those teams didn't even look close when I watched that game earlier in the year. So, as he always does, Coach Trotter doing a good job there at Waverly.
Yeah. And it's funny how his teams have changed. You know, remember back, really, he was one of the first guys to go to the shooting as many threes as we possibly can.
Yeah. So,
yeah, he just keeps reinventing himself.
He does, in lots of ways. Nolensville, girls, 2 district wins last week. They're 17-4, 6-8 overall, and probably more than any team to me, it's let's get to the tournament. You see their games getting closer, still winning, but I think personally that when it gets tournament time, you're going to see them re-energized. I mean, they haven't been losing. I'm not saying that. But I think you're going to see their play really go up a level. They're ready for the tournament.
They're ready. They're going. They're going.
Deep.
Laddie Daddy is taking them to the glass house.
I'll be there with them. Nolensville boys 1-1 last week with a win at Jeremy Qualls in Marshall County, 53-33.
Jeremy Qualls and Jason Tigert.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And Kedron Johnson and Arnett Bodenhammer. And we can,
Yes.
we can see all kinds of...
Been a lot of great coaches down there.
Then they lose at one of my favorite gyms in Tennessee, Giles County, 58-48. Records now 9-12 overall, still solidly in second place. Coach DeGaule's got those guys playing well. Big game at home with Community Friday night.
Big game, and you know, normally you would think that's not a tough game. Community's real deal this year.
State ranked,
and they've got some players. So yeah, it's a big one. But I think Nolensville, you know, the Giles County surprised me a little bit. But they'll be all right. Still figuring it out. They're getting ready for tournament time right now. That's what they're worried about.
Now let's look at our games on Tuesday and Friday. Now Friday is our rivalry Friday, and by the way, we will be live streaming on WCTV there from Kings Bowl.
Can't wait.
After the games, we'll have the coaches and players come in. We'll start about 9 o'clock. It'll be pretty spontaneous. Who's there, when they can get there and come up and interview with us. So
I will say this: great turnout last year.
Great turnout.
So you better bring your A game.
Us?
No.
Oh,
we're going to bring our A game. They do. We need good turnout, man. You don't want to be the last year's group out, do you? Right?
Well, and I appreciate
Always
Lance.
getting better.
Lance, who's going to be helping us out with the live stream. Appreciate him being a part of it. First time it's been live streamed on WCTV.
That's very big.
Now, look at the games here. We'll just pick one apiece. It can be Tuesday or Friday. Pick one game that.
We talking girls or boys?
Both. I don't care.
Brentwood Page. That might be the best game in the state. Boys or girls. Hey, you'll remember this. Now, I don't want anybody getting mad at me. You remember a few years ago, Riverdale and Blackman, they actually played the boys game first?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
That would be pretty dang cool. But anyways, Brentwood Page, ladies, no doubt. It's game of the week.
That's the game I was going to say. And the other game I'm looking at, Nolensville
Central
Community.
Community.
Nolensville Community boys on Friday night. I think Community is ripe for the Knights.
Do we have time to get there and then get back out to Kings Bowl?
It's going to be tough because I'm going to check out some wrestling too, the state duels.
Yes.
So I may be all over the place.
Ag Center.
It's going to be fun. Tate, as always, appreciate you being here.
It's going to be a big week.
Now you're a little under the weather. I wash your hands out there.
Not contagious, but yeah, I definitely am playing hurt today.
We
That's
appreciate
okay.
that.
Appreciate it. I'll be back.
I know you'll be back. See you Friday
Kansas
night.
City Chiefs, man.
Big win.
My homie.
Mahomes, who's he have to deal with?
3-stripe life.
You better believe he does.
Dang right.
We'll see you next time on Sports Connection.